Hello guys, welcome. Welcome to our question. Now today we are going to start. The chapter name is human reproduction. Human beings reproduce sexually and are vivipores. Reproductive events in humans include the formation of gametes called gametogenesis. In that is sperm is males and ovules in females. Transfer of sperm into female and genital is called insemination. तो इंसेमिनेशन क्या होता है? मेल स्पर्म को फीमेल इंजेक्ट करना कहलाता है इंसेमिनेशन. And the fusion of male and female gametes, fertilization, and leading to the formation of zygote is allowed by the formation and the development of blastocyte and its attachment to the uterine wall, implantation and embryonic gestation and delivery of baby is called perpetuation. And in humans, reproductive phases are called starts, puberty involves gametogenesis, insemination and so on. ये सारी इंपॉर्टेंट है, इसका भी फोटो तो बनता है. ओके, यहाँ तो कोई दिक्कत किसी को नहीं होनी चाहिए. उसके बाद इसका कुछ स्टेज है, जैसे गैमेटोजेनेसिस क्या होता है, गैमेट का बनना. इंसेमिनेशन क्या होता है, तो इंसेमिनेशन में क्या होता है कि जो स्पर्म्स जो होता है ना उसको फीमेल पार्ट तक पहुंचने नहीं दिया जाता है. फर्टिलाइज जानती हो, दोनों मेल गैमेट और फीमेल गैमेट को फ्यूज़ ना हो. इम्प्लांटेशन क्या होता है, तो इम्प्लांटेशन में क्या होता है कि जो ब्लास्टोसाइट जो होता है वो अटैच हो जाता है यूट्राइन वॉल से. ओके. एंड गेस्टेसिस क्या होता है, देखो इसमें होता क्या है, इसमें जो होता है ना कि किसी भी चीज़ का फॉर्मेशन या डेवलपमेंट होता है, ठीक है, जिसको हम लोग गेस्टेशन भी कहते हैं. अब पार्चुरेशन क्या होता है, इसमें बेबी का बर्थ या डिलीवरी टाइम को हम लोग पार्चुरेशन कहते हैं. उसके अलावा आता है मेल रिप्रोडक्शन क्या होता है. इट इज़ लोकेटेड बिटवीन pelvic रीजन एंड it consists to primary sex organ and a pair of testes and suspend in a scrotum, and secondary sex organ is a pair of duct of each differentiate in treated testes and vasa difference, epididymis and vasa difference, and ejaculatory duct and associated glands. And third, external genital and situated with the scrotum with protect the testis and also helps the maintaining the temperature, and each testis is to 4 to 5 centimeter in length and 2 to 3 centimeter in width and has 250 compartment and called testicular tubules. And testicular tubules have seminiferous tubules and which are site of sperm formation. Seminiferous tubules are lined by the two types of cell, male gamete cell and undergo meiosis form sperm and Sertoli cell that provide nourishment to germ cell. इसमें कुछ पार्ट दे रखे हैं यूट्रिन सब, उसका बिल्कुल जान लेना. Region outside the seminiferous tubule is called intestinal space and which contain Leydig cell and intestinal cell. Leydig cell produces androgens. Accessory ducts and glands. Accessory duct include rete testis, vasa differentia and epididymis and vasa differences. The seminiferous tubules open to vasa differentia and through the rete testis, and the vasa differentia open to the into the epididymis and which lead to the vasa differences, and the vas difference open to into the urethra and along with the duct and from a seminal vesicle and called the ejaculatory duct. Ejaculatory duct stores the sperm and the transport to the outside, and urethra starts from the urinary bladder and extend through the penis and the open via the urethral meatus. The accessory gland include a pair of seminal vesicle, prostate gland, a pair of bulbourethric gland. The secretion of these glands make up the seminal plasma and provide the nutrition and a medium of motility and to the sperm. फीमेल रिप्रोडक्टिव सिस्टम क्या है, इसमें देखो ये फिलोपियन ट्यूब है, यूटेराइन यूटस एंड यूट्रस है, फिम्ब्रिय है, ये ओवरी है, ओवरियल लिगामेंट है, एंडोट्रियम है, सर्विक्स है, माइटोसियम है, सर्विक्स है, पेरिट्रियम है, वजाइना है. ये सब क्या है, फीमेल बॉडी पार्ट. इसकी हर एक पार्ट को याद कर लो. ठीक है, लॉजिक लगाओ ना, कोई भी स्पर्म इंजेक्ट होगा कहाँ से, ऐसे होगा, यहाँ से यहाँ जाएगा, यहाँ से यहाँ जाएगा, यहाँ से यहाँ जाएगा, तो फिर बस बच्चे वाली बात है, तो समझा करो. ठीक है ना, कोई भी बेसिक सी बात है, उसको फिगर को याद कर लो, बाकी ऑटोमेटिकली हो जाएगा. It located in the pelvic region. It includes a pair of ovaries and pair of oviduct and uterus, cervix, vagina, and external genitalia and the mammary gland, and not part of reproductive system but acid in the child. Okay, but it's in the child care. Okay, ovary, they are the primary female sex organ, and they produce ovum and other ovarian hormones, and they are located in the lower abdominal, and they are 2 to 4 centimeter long, and they are connected to the ligament and to the pelvic and to the uterus, and each ovary is covered by the epithelium, and which contain the ovarium stromata, and the ovarium stromata is made up of peripheral cortex and inner medulla. Okay, ओविडक्ट क्या होता है? इट इज ऑल्सो, ये सब कुछ ज़्यादा ही इंपॉर्टेंट लग रहा है, ठीक है, इसका भी स्क्रीनशॉट ले ही लिया जाए, क्योंकि ये सब एग्जाम के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से बहुत काम आ सकते हैं। उसके बाद क्या है हमारा ओविडक्ट क्या होता है? इट इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड वोम एंड इज pear shaped. It is connected to pelvic walls by the ligament. The uterine wall consists first external perimetrium, second middle myometrium, third internal endometrium, which lines the uterine cavity. The endometrium undergoes the change during the menstrual cycle. The cervix and the vagina. The cervix connected to the uterus and to the vagina, and the cervix and the vagina constitute to the birth canal and external genitalia, and it contains monopubis में क्या होता है? fatty tissue covered by the skin and hair, and labia majora में क्या होता है कि the monos pubis and surrounded by the vagina opening and the labilla and folds of skin beneath, एक मिनट हाँ चलो ठीक है यहाँ तक। ओके, द fold of the skin beneath the labia majora, and hymen में क्या होता है? partially covered the vagina opening, and the clitoris में क्या होता है? lies at the junction of the lobia minora. mammary gland क्या होता है? present it in all female mammals, and it is paired and is glandular. Each breast contains 50 to 20 mammary lobes, and with the alveoli which secrete milk. The alveoli open to the into the mammary tubules, and which unite to form a mammary duct. Many mammary ducts constitute the mammary ampulla, and which connected to the lactiferous duct. Gametogenesis. The testis and the ovary produces the male and the female respectively by the gametogenesis, and spermatogenesis in the males and the oogenesis in the females. In the males, sperms are produced by the spermatogenia and immature germ cell, and which are present in the inner walls of the seminiferous tubule. Spermatogenia increases in the number of mitosis, and they are diploid. Some of the spermatogenia called primary spermatocyte and periodically undergo the meiosis. After the first meiotic division, the two haploid and the equally secondary spermatocytes are formed, and these further undergo the meiosis to give rise to four haploid spermatogenesis. And the spermatids are converted into sperms by the spermatogenesis, and the sperms head get embedded in the Sertoli cell after the spermatogenesis and its release, and from the seminiferous tubules by the insemination. The spermatogenesis starts at the puberty by the action of the gonadotrophin and releasing hormones G and RH, which in turn cause the release of the gonadotrophin called luteinizing and hormones LH, and the follicle stimulating and hormones FSH. Okay, and the LH act on the Leydig cell and cause them the release androgen, and which stimulate the process of spermatogenesis, and while the FSH act on the Sertoli cell, and which help in the spermatogenesis. Sperm structure of sperm, इस पूरे को भी ध्यान रखो, काम आएगा. The sperm, a mature the mature sperm consists of head, neck, middle piece, tall. A whole sperm is enclosed in plasma membrane, and the head consists of a fluid haploid nucleus and a cap-like acrosome, and contain enzymes that aid in the fertilization. The middle piece contains several mitochondria, which produces for the motility of the sperm. The sperms released by the seminiferous tubule are transported by the accessory and duct, and the secretion of the epidermis, vas deferens, seminal vesicle, and the prostate are the essential for the maturation and the motility of sperm. oogenesis, इसके पार्ट को भी ध्यान कर लेना. इसमें होता क्या है देखो. ओवम इज फॉर्म्ड बाय द प्रोसेस ऑफ oogenesis and the start during embryonic growth, and the millions of gametes mother cell oogenia and are formed in the fertile ovary. Okay, इसको ध्यान रखना, fertile ovary, and these cells undergo meiosis and but temporarily arrested at the prophase and the called primary oocyte. Before the reaching puberty, a large number of primary oocytes generate and remaining ones get the surrounded by the layer of granulosa and cell. The new theca and are called secondary follicle, and the secondary follicle are then converted into tertiary follicle that have characteristic fluid filled cavity called antrum. And at this stage the primary oocyte present within the tertiary follicle completes meiosis with result in the formation of haploid secondary oocytes and a teeny polar body. Okay, उसके बाद क्या है, tertiary follicle further change into the Graafian follicle. The secondary oocyte is surrounded by the zone pellucida, and then the Graafian follicle rupture to the release the ovum by the ovulation. Menstrual cycle and the fertilization क्या होता है? Menstrual cycle is the reproductive cycle in all primates and begins to puberty, menarche, and in human females, and the menstruation occurs in 28 to 29 days, and the cycle of events starting from one menstruation till the next one is called the menstrual cycle. During the middle of menstrual cycle, the ovum releases ovulation, and cycle starts with the menstrual flow, and 3 to 5 days caused due to the breakdown of the endometrium of the uterus. The blood vessel in liquid states are discharged, but this occurs only when the ovum is not fertilized. It is followed by the follicular phase. In this phase the primary follicle mature into the Graafian follicle. This caused the generation of the endometrium, and these changes are brought about by the ovarian and pituitary hormones. In this phase the release of gonadotropin and LH and FSH increases. This causes the follicular growth, and the growing follicle produces estrogen and LH and FSH at their peak and in the middle of the cycle to 14th day, and the cause rupture of the Graafian follicles to the release ovum, and this phase is called ovulatory phase, and the remained of the Graafian follicles and get converted into the corpus luteum, and which secrete the progesterone for the maintenance of the endometrium. In the absence of the fertilization, and the corpus luteum and degenerated thereby the causing and the disintegration of the endometrium and the starts of a new cycle. In humans the menstrual cycle are in the humans, and the menstrual cycle causes cases to the operate at the age of 50 years. The phase is known as the menu phase. Okay, and the fertilization and the implantation क्या होता है वो देख लेते हैं. During the coitus, and the semen is released into the vagina and passes through the cervixes and the uterus and reaches the ampulla and the ischemic junction of the fallopian tube. The ovum is also released into the function of the fertilization to the occur, and the process of fusion of sperm and the ovum is called fertilization, known as the fertilization. During the fertilization, the sperm induced changes into the zona pellucida and the block the entry of the other sperm. Okay, and this ensured that only the one sperm fertilizes with an ovum, and enzymatic secretion of the acrosome help the sperm enters the cytoplasm of the ovum. This causes the completion of the meiotic division of the secondary oocytes, and resulting in the formation of the haploid and the ovum oocyte and a secondary polar body. Then the haploid sperm nucleus fuses with the haploid nucleus of the ovum to the form a diploid zygote. Mitosis starts as the zygote moves through the isthmus of the oviduct and the cleavage and forms 2, 4, 6, 8, 16. इट मीन्स डबल होता जाएगा, ठीक है ना, हमेशा 2 से 4, 4 से 8, 8 से 16 डॉटर सेल्स एंड कॉल ब्लास्टोमेयर. ओके, 8 to 16 एम्ब्रियो इज कॉल्ड मोरुला. क्या बोलते हैं इसको? मोरुला. ये भी काफ़ी इंपॉर्टेंट लाइन है, इसका भी आप इसको अपडेट कीजिए. साथ में इसको लेंगे, दोनों को साथ में लिया जाए तो ज़्यादा बेटर होगा. इसका लॉन्ग स्क्रीन शॉट ले यहाँ से, फर्टिलाइजेशन इम्प्लांटेशन से लॉन्ग स्क्रीन शॉट. ओके, इतना इनफ है, इसको आराम से बैठ के पढ़िए। नाउ अब जानते हैं इसको होता क्या है। तो कहा कि 8 to 16 सेल जो होता है एम्ब्रियो, जो होता है एम्ब्रियो सेल, उसे हम लोग मोडुला का नाम जानते हैं, विच कंटिन्यू डिवाइड्स फ्रॉम द ब्लास्टोसाइट एंड द मोडुला मूव फॉर द यूट्रस एंड द सेल इन द ब्लास्टोसाइट आर अरेंज इनटू द एन आउटर ट्रिप्लोब्लास्ट एंड एन इनर cell mass and the trophoblast gets attached to the uterine endometrium and the process is called implantation and that leads to the pregnancy and the inner cell mass gets differentiated to form embryo. Okay, pregnancy and the parturition lactation. Pregnancy after the implantation and the trophoplasm forms finger like projection and called कहता नहीं है chorionic villi and surrounded by the uterine cell called maternal blood and the chorionic villi and the uterine tissue gets integrated to form placenta and which help in the supplying the developing embryo with the oxygen and nutrients and is always involved in the removal of waste. The placenta is connected to the embryo by the umbilical cord. The placenta acts as endocrine gland and produces the human chorionic and the gonadotropin and the human placenta lactogen and the estrogen and the progesterone and the taxane and the later stage of pregnancy. These hormones support the fetal growth and the help in the maintenance pregnancy. Hormones like estrogen and the progesterone, cortisol and the prolactin etc. are increase the several folds in the maternal blood and immediately after implantation and the inner cell mass embryo gets differentiated into the endometrium and the mesoderm and the endoderm which gave rise to different tissue. This ability to involve cell mass due to the presence of the multipotent cell called stem cell. Most of the major organs are formed at the end of 12 weeks of pregnancy and during the 5 months and the limbs and the body are here are formed and by 24 weeks eye limbs separated and the eyelashes are formed and at the end of 9 months the result fetus are fully mature and the parturition and lactation. Human pregnancy has the duration of 9 months. The duration is called the gestation period. At the end of this period, the vigorous uterine contraction lead to the delivery of the fetus and this called the parturition. The parturition is a neuroendocrine mechanism and is started by the signal from the developed and fetus and the placenta which produces the fetal injection reflex. This lead to the explosion of body along with the placenta during the pregnancy and the mammary glands undergo purification and the milk is produced during the end of pregnancy. The milk produced during the first day of lactation is known as the colostrum and it contains several antibodies and the aid newborn to develop resistance. So guys, thanks for watching video till the end. This chapter has completely finished and see you in next video. Bye bye.